What's up, guys? Jordan McAbee here, fantasyracingonline.com, home of the Slingshot Fantasy Auto Contest. And we're on to Bristol, the Bass Pro Shops NRA night race. So we're back at Bristol this week for a race on the actual asphalt and not dirt. So you remember back earlier this year, the first race at Bristol was on the dirt track. Kind of got crazy. Joey Logano ended up winning it. Daniel Suarez actually looked like he could possibly win that race. Ended up finishing fourth. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. was second. Denny Hamlin third. Personally, I wouldn't go and look too much into that race, look too much into that data. It's just not very comparable to an asphalt track in the old Bristol. And the only possible similarity you could have there is that, Bristol tends to be a little crazy, kind of like the Bristol dirt race was. And we could have plenty of surprises and plenty of drivers disappointing on Saturday night. Another keynotes, another Saturday night race. Make sure you get your picks in for this game. Looking at the starting lineup, we got Truex on the pole after his win at Richmond. We got Hamlin starting second, Joey Logano, Chase Elliott, Kyle Larson rounding out the top five. Christopher Bell starting sixth, Ryan Blaney seventh, Kevin Harvick eighth, Kyle Busch ninth, Brad Keselowski 10th. Place differential plays, you got Kurt Busch starting back here in 15th. Ross Chastain, who's been on fire lately, starting 17th, going a little bit further back. Got, kind of like the, Bubba Wallace starting 28th, Ryan Preece starting 27th. But this is a pretty typical starting lineup now that we had a very predictable race at Richmond, no big surprises. And it's kind of, the best cars are starting where they should, give or take a few up in the playoff drivers. But going over to the algorithm predicted finishing order for this race, Kyle Larson, number one. That shouldn't surprise anybody. He's very good at Bristol. He's been very strong at comparable tracks this year. He's been great in the 750 package. No reason to bet against Kyle Larson when he has nothing to lose at one of his best tracks. Chase Elliott predicted to finish second, Denny Hamlin third, Kyle Busch fourth, Kevin Harvick fifth. Blaney, Logano, Kurt Busch, Truex, Keselowski rounding out the top 10. Not a ton of surprises. And we can, there's bound to be some of these higher guys on this have issues, and some of the lower ranked drivers by the algorithm this week doing better than expected, because Bristol's a 500-mile race and a lot can happen. So, and then plenty will, and we'll see comers and goers, and it'll be wild. It should be a very good race, though. As far as similar racetracks, we're looking at, if you listen to the Stacking Denny's podcast this week, we're looking at Dover, we're looking at Homestead, and we're looking at Darlington. Dover is the most comparable of them, but we'll throw them all together and we'll look at that. Let's take a look at Dover specifically. Earlier this year, it was Alex Bowman who ended up winning it. And remember, it was Hendrick that was 1, 2, 3, 4 pretty much all race. Larson had the best green flag speed. Chase Elliott, Alex Bowman, William Byron in the top four. Got Hamlin fifth. Harvick, Blaney, Logano, Austin Dillon, Keselowski. As far as average running position in that race, Kyle Larson 1.5 at Dover. Byron was second best, Harvick third best, Chase Elliott fourth best, Denny Hamlin fifth best, and then Bowman sixth best. Let's take a look at the four similar races of this year that I just mentioned. So we got Homestead, we got Dover, we got the two Darlington races. Best average finish of those four races, Kyle Larson at 2.5, got Harvick at 5.5, Denny Hamlin at 6.0, Truex at 6.8, Tyler Reddick at 10.0, William Byron at 10.8. Ross Chastain at 12.5, Joey Logano 12.8. Switching over to average running position over those races, Kyle Larson the best, 3.9. Denny Hamlin second best, 5.9. Kevin Harvick 6.9, nice. Truex and Byron at 8.3, Logano 9.1, Chase Elliott 10.1. Looking at the updated 750 horsepower statistics, best average finish in the 750 horsepower package, Kyle Larson. Denny Hamlin, Joey Logano, Truex, Harvick, the top five. Got Christopher Bell at 9.9 average finish in this package. Chase Elliott, Ross Chastain, William Byron, Austin Dillon. Sorting by average running position this year, Denny Hamlin the best at 4.2. Got Joey Logano at 7.6, then Larson at 7.8. Harvick 8.0, Ryan Blaney 8.2, Chase Elliott 8.9, Truex 9.1, and then Byron at 10.5. Let's go to just kind of overall. Let's look at the Slingshot driver salaries. I think Kyle Larson and Kyle Busch are by far the best two choices this week. Algorithm says Elliott and Hamlin a little bit better than Kyle Busch, or likes Elliott and Hamlin a little bit better than Kyle Busch, but they don't have as much upside in this place differential contest like the Slingshot game has. So with Denny Hamlin starting second, with Chase Elliott starting fourth, there's definitely more upside in choosing Kyle Busch and getting a few more place differential points as well as potential dominator points. But I think when you're building a lineup for Slingshot this week, you have to go with at least one of Kyle Busch or Kyle Larson, if not both. You can easily fit both of these into a lineup without going too far down into the driver pool and still put in a respectable lineup. So let's do one lineup with Larson and Kyle Busch in it. So actually, let's go and look at, recent Bristol races. Kyle Busch over the last 7, second, fourth, first, 20th, first, and first. 3 wins over the last 7 races. You take out 2019, he still has 2 wins. He still has 4 top 5s over the last 5 races. So always super strong here. That's what we didn't look at on this chart. So Bristol, let's look at Bristol 2020. Again, the package was a little bit different in 2019. So you can kind of take that out a little bit. And then obviously looking at 2018, 2017, as far as super similar Bristol setups. But this chart right here is just showing the 2020 numbers. Average finish, Kyle Busch at 3.0, Eric Jones at 4.0, Kevin Harvick 6.0, Austin Dillon 9.0, Ryan Preece 10.5, Kurt Busch 11.0. Again, this is just 2 races, and this isn't going to have – Kyle Larson didn't race in either of them. It's not going to have any of the rookies this year, so just take these numbers for what they're worth, what you think they're worth. Best average running position, Chase Elliott at 4.4, Kevin Harvick 5.5, Kyle Busch 6.5, Logano 6.9, got Eric Almirola up there at 8.7. Hamlin, Jones, Keselowski, a lot of these same drivers. There's not a ton of surprises when it comes to, who actually runs well as far as average running position. It's just, if a team or a driver makes a mistake or has a mechanical issue at a half-mile track like this where they make laps in 15 seconds, it is super easy for them, for a driver to be 5 laps down before he knows it, and night is just completely ruined after that. So these teams and these drivers can't afford to make any mistakes on Saturday night, and they definitely can't afford to have any mechanical issues. So that's kind of why, that's the value of looking deeper into the stats, looking at average running position, looking at average green flag speed when it comes to a track like Bristol, just because finishing position can definitely be misleading would be the best way to put it, especially with only a couple races in the data samples. So, Kyle Busch always strong here. Going back to Kyle Larson, never won here, surprisingly, but always runs really well here. Over the last 6 starts, 6th, 19th, 2nd, 9th, and 6th. You got to give him another nod for having Hendrick equipment and just being so strong this year. I think it's going to be difficult for anybody to beat Kyle Larson. I think he's the favorite to definitely dominate most of this race or the majority of this race. We usually see like 2, 3, maybe even 4 dominators at a Bristol race. You have to think Larson is up there as the favorite. Could also throw Chase Elliott into the mix. Definitely Kyle Busch, and I'd probably throw Denny Hamlin in there a little bit. But so let's start a lineup here with Kyle Larson, Kyle Busch. Leaves you $25,200 left over with the salary cap. I really like Ryan Preece this week at $6,500. He starts 27th. Looking at similar tracks, he finished 18th at Dover. He finished 21st at Homestead. Hell, he finished 12th in the second Darlington race. And then when you look at Preece's finishes here at Bristol specifically, go through here. He finished 9th last year. I know that. Finished 9th last fall. He finished 12th. Finished 18th, 25th. If Priest can just survive on Saturday night, he's going to have a very good day in the Slingshot Contest. So it's $6,500. I definitely think he's a safer play than Corey LaJoie or Anthony Alfredo, despite starting a few spots higher up. So don't mind going Priest down here at $6,500. That leaves you $18,700 for the rest of your lineup, the last two drivers. Honestly, I really like this range right here with like Bowman, Bell, Kurt Busch, Chastain. I think you can definitely do stuff here and put together a good lineup without going with like 3 heavy hitters and 2 low dollar guys, which that's still a possible route to take when it comes to this slingshot game, because like there's a lot of ways you can go with this race, and it's hard to say that this is the best. Like Richmond last week, it was very, very predictable. We knew basically who was going to run up front. We knew who the best picks were. It's not like that here at Bristol. There's a lot that can go wrong, and there's a lot that can change over the course of the race. It's a 500-mile race, 500-lap race on a very short track. So, maybe you go 3 studs and 2 lower price guys. Maybe you go a more central approach where you only have 1 stud and then 4 guys in the middle. There's really I don't think there's a wrong way to attack Bristol from a fantasy perspective, as long as you're picking the drivers that are typically fast here. So let's throw Chase Elliott on here with Ryan Preece, Kyle Larson, and Kyle Busch. It leaves you $6,900, and you can grab Bubba Wallace. Yes, very risky in taking Bubba Wallace, but at the same time, he starts 28th. He's finished 22nd or better in all 4 comparative tracks to Bristol this year. Also, looking at his record here right at Bristol, usually a top 20 driver. He's finished 20th or better in 4 of his 6 starts here. He finished 10th here last May, 22nd in his other start. He has a couple of stage finishes, as you can see here. So I don't hate that kind of build at all for this Bristol race, because you're getting guys that are probably going to get stage points with Larson, Kyle Busch, and Elliott. And then you're just hoping that your other two, that your other 2 drivers and Bubba and Preece just survive. And as long as they survive, they should move up. You could also go Eric Jones here, who's very strong at Bristol. He has a great record. Again, so he's in this Richard Petty car, who Bubba Wallace finished top 20 in 4 of the 6 races, 22nd or better in 5 of the 6. You look at Eric Jones's record here while with Joe Gibbs Racing, he finished top 5 in 4 of his last 7, including top 5s in both races last year. Does he have top 5 potential in that Petty car? I don't think so, but definitely an option. He starts 20 seconds, a little higher up. I think it's a little riskier than going Bubba Wallace, but like I said, Bubba Wallace in general is just a very risky pick this year, and really in general, or has always been. Looking at similar tracks this year, Jones finished 18th in the first Darlington race. Other than that, he was outside the top 20, and in the 4 comparable races. At Dover, he was 22nd. Bubba Wallace at Dover was 11th. I like that. So I'd probably, if I was doing this kind of lineup, I'd go Larson, Kyle Busch, Elliott, Bubba Wallace, Preece, and I'd call it a day. You could maybe come down here and punt with JJ Yaley, giving you. I do like Daniel Suarez. So Daniel Suarez, 15th or better in 3 of the 4 comparable races, including a 9th at Dover. And then, again, he was a contender. Not that it matters at all, but just something worth noting. He wasn't actually a contender at Bristol Dirt. He's actually pretty good at this racetrack. Suarez, he's had basically 1 bad race here. It was last year with Gaunt Brothers, and he still finished 26th. He finished 18th in the first race with Gaunt Brothers. Other than that, 8th, 18th, 11th, 15th, 18th. Daniel Suarez is pretty good at Bristol. So I honestly don't mind going Yaley and then going Suarez here either. If you don't want to go Preece and Bubba, go Suarez and go Yaley. So you got Suarez, who could surprise with maybe, a top 15. JJ Yaley always outruns his equipment. He's now in that 51 car, which he's taken over from Cody Ware this week. And let's look at Yaley's results here at Bristol. Again, he typically outruns his car. He finished 30th, 32nd, 28th, 32nd, 30th, 25th, 28th, 32nd, 30th, 34th, 32nd. He's starting 35th. If there's a few wrecks, if anything crazy happens, there's no reason to think that he can't finish in the high 20s this week, which, if Suarez comes out and finishes 12th, you could see this lineup working. And that's if you want to go with this lineup. But you have three guys that could potentially win this race. You got Suarez, who has sleeper potential, and then you just have a punt with Yaley. And you know what? If he wrecks on, or if he blows up on lap 1 or something, it's not going to kill your lineup. So I definitely don't mind it. I also don't mind the Bubba Wallace, Ryan Preece with this type of lineup. I like I said, there's so many ways you can go. I don't have a foolproof, hey, this is a great type of build this week, because there's so much potential. You can make a case for so many drivers in this field. So if you didn't want to go Kyle Larson, Kyle Busch, let's jump down to I think Harvick has top 5 potential. I don't love that he's starting 8th though for this game. I do like, Alex Bowman, Kurt Busch. So Alex Bowman, he won at Dover. He's had strong runs here at Bristol before, including a 5th place in 2018 and 8th place. He was top 10 in both stages. I don't know what happened. I don't remember what happened last fall in that race, but definitely strong for a lot of that race for Alex Bowman. Starting 11th, if you could, and then Kurt Busch. Let's look at Kurt Busch real quick. Kurt Busch is really, really good at Bristol. He could actually win this race. He's won here 6 times. Only Kyle Busch has won more among active drivers. So recent races at Bristol from Kurt Busch: 15th, 7th, 9th, 2nd, 1st, 22nd, and 5th. You also have to consider how strong Kurt Busch's car has been over the last, what seems like 2 to 3 months. Take out Richmond, where he wrecked. 6th at Darlington. He had a 12th at Daytona. 4th at Michigan. 6th at Indy Road Course. He won at Atlanta. 4th at Road America. He finished 6th at Pocono. He finished 8th at Nashville. 6th at Sonoma. Ever since this race right here, May 30th at Coca-Cola 600, when they had those engine issues, the Chip Ganassi cars have had extra speed. And Kurt Busch, even through these first 2 playoff races, he was a legitimate top 5 car at Darlington. I think he had top 5 car at Richmond as well. He's not great at those racetracks. So now we're at a racetrack where Kurt Busch is really good. If he has similar speed, there's no reason to think he can't finish top 5. He starts 15th. It's a ton of place differential points that you could grab. So you go Kyle Larson, you go Kurt Busch. You got 28,000 left over for 3 drivers. Come down and grab, let's throw like a Preece on there. I'm gonna always default to Preece just to get an idea of where this lineup's ending up on the salary scale. Leaves you 21,500 for your last 2 drivers. Definitely don't hate that. You could go Christopher Bell, Kevin Harvick. You could cut down to Yaley again and go Kyle Busch. So again, you're Larson, Kyle Busch, Christopher Bell, Kurt Busch, JJ Yaley. Christopher Bell is super risky, starting 6th, but he's good at Bristol. He has extra speed lately in these playoffs. He did finish 9th here last year with Levine. But remember back to Eric Jones. So I make this comparison a lot, especially this year. Christopher Bell is now in the car that Eric Jones used to drive. Eric Jones finished top 5 in both Bristol races last year in this car. He finished 5th in 2018 with this car. He almost won here in Furniture Row, which was basically a Joe Gibbs car here in 2017. Very risky pick at Christopher Bell at 10,000. We're used to that with him. If you're feeling like taking a risk, certainly possible. You could also come up here, grab Alex Bowman, take Kyle Busch off, and go down to Chase Elliott. Boom. You got Larson, Elliott, Bowman, Kurt Busch, JJ Yaley. You have 4 drivers that could finish top 8. And a guy that you just need to finish the race. Again, it's not fun. I guess it can be fun going with these lower guys like the JJ Yaleys, but definitely not the ideal type, or not the usual type of build that we see in this game that you're probably used to making. But I think that's it's definitely a strategy that you could take this weekend at Bristol, because the opportunities are there to really stack up these top tier guys. If you wanted to go, instead of Bowman, go Ross Chastain. So we all know how strong Ross Chastain has been lately. As far as his record here at Bristol, you kind of have to take it with a grain of salt. He's never been in good equipment, but he's finished, 26th for Premium Motorsports is a good day. It's a very good day. He did it twice. He also finished 29th. Look at similar tracks this year. And this was before, remember, these are before Ross Chastain and these cars had legitimate speed. He was 15th at Dover. He finished 3rd in the second Darlington race, which that was actually when they had speed. He finished 15th at the first Darlington race, 17th at Homestead. Why would you bet against Ross Chastain right now? He's showing like he can legitimately run top 5 and be one of the best cars in these playoffs. 3rd, 7th, he has 7th at Road America, 8th at New Hampshire. He's been very, very strong in these races, and definitely has that place differential potential, starting 17th, finishing potential, if he could get up into the top 5. And, if you want to roll with Chastain again this week, I'm not going to try to talk you out of it, because there's plenty of reasons to like him with how he's running right now. Cap off this lineup with Daniel Suarez. So you're not punting. You're not grabbing any Priuses. You're not grabbing any Yaleys. You're not grabbing any LaJoys or Alfredos. You're going Larson, Elliott, Kurt Busch, Chastain, Suarez. I personally don't like it. I think this is the week to punt. Grab a Yaley, grab, a Prius, if you want to call that a punt. I'd consider JJ Yaley a punt. I wouldn't consider Ryan Preece a punt. But this is definitely the week to do so and just load up on these top guys. And at the end of the day, enjoy the race, because, Bristol, like I said, it's nuts. It's fun. From a fantasy perspective, it's fun to watch. From a fantasy perspective, it can be extremely frustrating. I know I personally have not been great at Bristol over the years. I've had like maybe 1 or 2 good races. The last really good race I had was when Jimmy Johnson won it, and I had I think I bet $69 on him at 18-1 or something like that. It was back in, was it 2016? Nope. It was 2017. First race in 2017. That's that's the last time I had a really good race at Bristol. So this track owes me. Let's say that. This track owes me. When Jimmy Johnson won, I remember the reason I looked up Kurt Busch is because he was very heavily owned in DFS that day and had an issue, and that's one of the reasons why I profited quite a bit in DFS that day, was because 1, he had issues, I didn't have him, and 2, I had Johnson when nobody else did. So this is the week to not, it's not like a Daytona or Talladega week to go crazy and just pick place differential guys and go like Bubba Wallace, Priest, Yaley, all in the same lineup. But this is a week that you can get more creative with your lineups and pick these guys that probably, are not take chances. As I guess this is a good week to take chances, but at the same time, like I said, be smart about it. Like, there's a reason Kyle Busch and Kyle Larson are so heavily favored by sportsbooks this week. They are the 2 best options for this race. And really, I think the only way they don't both finish top 5 is if one or both of them have issues. And so while it's certainly possible at Bristol, it's not something that we can predict. So, yeah, like I said, be smart. Good luck. Enjoy the race. Saturday night, don't forget to get your picks in. It's the Bass Pro Shops NRA night race. It's going to cap off round 1 of the playoffs, and then we're off to Las Vegas for the final night race of the season next Sunday night. But again, Saturday night, Bristol, get your picks in. Good luck, and see you.